feel especially privileged to have a piece of the natural history of Tremont. I mean, this wood has been around for more than a century, and here it is. It has a new place.
Howdy, Tree Monsters. This is Meg Hadzinski reporting for Tree Monster TV outside the Furniture Makers, run by proprietors P.D. White and Alex Tatula. But today we're going to take you back to 2012 when Superstorm Sandy blew through Tremont and knocked down one of our very own Lincoln Park trees. That very tree found its way into P.D. White's furniture store, where he crafted it into a table that lives in the home of one of our Tremont residents. We have Matt Poshedley on location today. Matt?
Thanks, Meg. I'm Matt Poshedley reporting for Tree Monster TV here on West 6 in Tremont, where we now get to see where this wonderful table now sits.
Alrighty, Tree Monsters, we're now going to take you inside the Furniture Makers to take a look at their process. We're now inside Furniture Makers, where proprietors Paul White and Alex Tatula use traditional techniques to create furniture with a modern twist. Paul, walk us through the process of when the tree fell down in Lincoln Park to the delivery into our very own Tree Monsters resident home.
The first part of the process was getting the tree away from the city because it was on city property. So that took a little bit of time going through the legal areas of the city and talking to the workers there. And they finally said it was okay, we could have the trees. All we had to do was haul them away ourselves. So the first part was to get them cut up small enough so we could get them onto our trailer. Dragging them was a lot of work, getting it onto the trailer. Luckily, Alex is a lot bigger than I am, and stronger. We can cut all that out. But so then once it's on the trailer, we take it out to a person called a sawyer, who has a large enough saw to handle a log that big. Those were almost 40 inches in diameter, so that created quite nice slabs of lumber. After the sawyer will ask us what sizes we like, what type of cuts we want to do. There's different ways to handle it. And then when he's done with it, then it'll be transferred to a kiln area where then it'll be dried. The process takes approximately 6 months to complete.
We're now joined with co-proprietor Alex Tatula. Alex, will you walk us through your experience with the Lincoln Park tree?
Sure. During Hurricane Sandy a few years ago, a couple soft maple trees uprooted in Lincoln Park, just a few blocks up the street. A guy at the time that was working with us, he took the lead and called the city and made sure that we had the proper authorization to take the trees off the property without getting in any trouble. So after he went through the ropes with the city, he met me there with his trailer, and we continued to saw some parts off the tree that were getting in our way to pulling it up on the trailer. Once it was on the trailer, we had it taken out to Amish country, and they had it sawed up and stickered, left to air dry for a few months, and then put in the kiln so it could be dried into usable lumber.
We go back and forth. Do we like it this way? Are we going to use it that way? Is this piece going to be, like in this case, it was being turned into a dining room table. So we were looking for the two most beautiful matched set pieces we could find out of this log. We found the two we liked the most, we looked it over, and then the process was start of putting the tabletop together. After that was getting the selection for the legs and the frame.
Paul's actually old friends with the couple. They've known each other for a few years, and Paul had mentioned that we had this lumber that was available for a table. And they just actually moved in from, I think, Columbia Station or North Olmsted, moving back into the city, so they wanted something that was a part of the area. And so we just went ahead and designed this table based around what the lumber that we had available to use.
Yeah, this just happens to be a couple that were looking for a dining room table that knew our store and came down and talked to us. And we said, well, we have lumber from the trees in Lincoln Park, and that was, okay, that sealed the deal. They were totally interested in that, totally into the idea of using reclaimed is not quite the right word, saved lumber that was headed for the rubbish bin or the fireplace, and that was what really interested them, plus they live in Tremont, so that made it a double sword thing. It was perfect for them.
Here we are in the home of Marilyn Dubisak and Jim Nacarado, where this one-of-a-kind, beautiful table sits. Marilyn, can you tell us a little about how this came about and how you got the idea to have a table like this in your home?
Well, we moved to Tremont almost 3 years ago, and we brought with us a large old walnut table that was really too big for this room, so we needed something that was going to fit here. We had been involved with Tremont since the early 90s when we joined Pilgrim Church, and we had met Paul White somewhere along the line there, and we knew about what he did and how beautiful his work was. So we thought we'd talk with Paul about what he might be able to make. Well, when he said he had maple from Lincoln Park, we thought, well, this is it. This is the deal. So between Paul and us and a designer friend, we came up with the size and the shape and what we wanted to do for with the table.
Wow, that's really incredible. I mean, not everybody has a story like that to tell, a table that came out of Lincoln Park and Tremont. You know, that you don't hear that a lot. With having a table like this, there must be a lot of stories. You know, you have friends over for dinner or drinks or whatever it may be. And Jim, do you mind telling us a little bit about kind of where the stories go, where they go lead?
The table's at home. It's home, we feel, in our house. And when friends come and visit and sit around the table and they hear the story, it just brings life to the place. And it makes the house a home, and it really makes people very, very comfortable. And I can't tell you how many conversations have happened around this table because of the table.
All right. Well, we really appreciate your time and the information you gave us, and you're lucky to have this table. It's beautiful. I mean, I love just looking at it right here.
We feel especially privileged to have a piece of the natural history of Tremont. I mean, this wood has been around for more than a century, and here it is. It has a new place.
I'm Matt Bichelli with Tree Monster TV. Back to you, Meg.
Thank you for following the journey of this tree, which started in Lincoln Park and now lives in the home of one of our very own Tremont residents. This has been Meg Hadzinski and Matt Pachedley, Tree Monster TV.